Hi, welcome back to Real Reviews. This is Cody Williams, and we're here to talk about the movie Mickey 17. It is a sci-fi dark comedy film directed by award-winning director Bong Joon-ho that stars Robert Pattinson, Stephen Yeun, Naomi Ackie, Toni Collette, and Mark Ruffalo. Now, this is a film I've been looking forward to for quite some time now, ever since seeing the previews for it. I don't know what else to say, but it looks very interesting to say the least. Is it any good? Well, let's talk about it. The movie story follows Mickey Barnes, who is sent on a human expedition to colonize the ice world Niflheim. As an expendable, a disposable crew member on a space mission selected for dangerous tasks, he can be renewed if his body dies with his memories largely intact. With one regeneration, though, things go very wrong. Just as I expected, I very much enjoyed this movie. I thought it was something completely different that we've never gotten before, and it was tons of fun. Is it perfect? No, but I'll talk more about that later. Right now, I want to talk about the many great things the movie has going for it. That all includes its brilliant originality, how hilarious it was, the satirical nature of the film, Robert Pattinson, of course, and just how this movie is beautifully filmed. I will say that this is a one of a kind movie that we don't get very often, but when we do, there's just so much to appreciate about it. Sure, it's an adaptation of a book, but still, this movie is spectacularly brilliant. If you really want to compare this movie to anything in particular, think of Multiplicity meets Starship Troopers. If you've seen those two, you will have a more deeper understanding of this magnificent film. With Parasite being the only other Bong Joon-ho film I've seen, this new movie just doesn't quite hit as good as that. Being a satirical film, it felt really on the nose about how it mirrors real world stuff that includes dehumanizing capitalism, religion, politics, media consumerism, and colonizing. The way the film's social commentary was sprinkled into the mix of things were great, but I do think it could have been better. But of course, I will elaborate on that more down the line. Obviously, the best thing I really enjoyed out of this film would definitely have to be Robert Pattinson himself. He's the main focus of the movie, and he absolutely nails his performances throughout. You have to give credit where credit is due, especially when an actor has to play two roles with different mannerisms, because Robert is just absolutely phenomenal. In this film, he definitely shows his talent with his wonderful acting range. I do think that this is one of his best performances to date. As far as co-stars go, I happen to really enjoy Naomi Ackie and also Stephen Yeun. As far as everyone else goes, let's just say I wasn't impressed. Did not expect this movie to be as hilarious as it was. Well, I did kind of, but just not as much as it was. I mean, there's a lot of dark humor scattered throughout, where it's just hard to not contain yourself. It's very tongue in cheek, but the humor was incredibly witty and downright wacky. Honestly, it felt like I was constantly laughing throughout, and it really helped in the movie's favor to help have a great time with. As far as the film itself goes, I will say that it's beautifully well put together. The production design is none other than astounding, and the cinematography is super aesthetically pleasing. Unequivocally so, this is a visually dazzling film that's super easy to admire and relish every single frame that was wonderfully shot on camera. Another thing that I just so happened to admire about this movie was how writer and director Bong Joon-ho was given absolute complete artistic freedom to do whatever he wanted. Things managed to work out in his favor mostly, but there's just so much in this movie to unpack. This is where I'm coming back to talk about the problems that I had with the film's satirical social commentary. There are a whole lot of topics that it covers that I listed earlier, but they are all just too much for one movie. The whole film is just too convoluted with these different ideas, but it just doesn't quite have the focus of the bigger picture in mind. On to the other things that bother me. First things first, Mark Ruffalo's acting was way too much. Regardless of political views, his performance feels like a caricature of Donald Trump. It was way too on the nose and it was absolutely over the top with how cartoonish it was. It was funny at first and it got old very quick. If that wasn't bad enough, Toni Collette's performance was over the top as well. I don't get it. There were two great talented actors, but this movie was not it for either of them. On top of that, once we get to the second act of the film, the pacing feels like it just drags on forever. After that, it does pick right up for the film's very entertaining climactic final act. With all that said, I still had a great time with this movie, but it just could have been so much better. Overall, Mickey 17 is a fascinating sci-fi flick that's ambitiously fun in all the right ways possible. While it's nothing groundbreaking, this movie is still quite the delectable cinematic treat that makes for an entertaining and thought-provoking experience. Even with its glaring issues, there's a lot of fun to be had with this magnificent movie. I give this movie a B+. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Keep up my real reviews.